We have a lot to break down in today's weather forecast, including unseasonably warm temperatures in which continue through the rest here of September. We are also keeping an eye on a storm system bringing heavy rainfall and severe weather prospects to the United States. And we have a tropical system worth watching in the Caribbean and the Gulf. We'll break down everything that you need to know in today's weather forecast. So make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. We just hit 98,600 subscribers and are on our way to 100,000. If you want to help out, make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. We'll get you the latest on the information with the latest videos, live streams, and also make sure to like the video down below. It helps out more than you know. And of course, important is to leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. We'll always get those later after the video. So what you're looking at here is your GOES satellite imagery on this wonderful Thursday, September 19th. And you can see a big curly Q up here in towards Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and North Dakota. That is your low pressure system, my friends. And you do have a cold front extending down across the Midwest into the Central Plains with that. And that is bringing us more unseasonably warm temperatures on the warm side of this system. We're pulling up those 90-degree highs this afternoon as far north as Iowa here. So the Hawkeye State experiencing that in Des Moines, 91 this afternoon. Also over here in the Cornhusker State of Nebraska in the Omaha region, we were at 92 this afternoon and approaching the triple digits, if not into the triple digits, across the Sooner and Lone Star State of Oklahoma and Texas this afternoon as well. And that will continue as we go into Friday afternoon tomorrow. The heat will stick around. This could be the worst day for heat down here in the Southern Plains, as from Tulsa down to Oklahoma City and Wichita Falls, Texas, we could be dealing with 102 respectively for high temperatures, and those heat index values widespread across the central Southern Plains tomorrow afternoon, approaching 105, 110 degrees Fahrenheit. So make sure to stay hydrated if you live down in those areas over the next 48 hours. This storm system is bringing a cold front, so it's clashing into that air mass where we have cooler air from the north and west clashing into the warm, moist, and unstable air to the east. And with that cold front, there is a level 2 out of 5 slight risk of severe weather from the upper Midwest down here towards the Southern Plains. And this could be a potential for some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, quarter-size hail, possibly even over 2-inch diameter hailstones. That is hen egg size or larger. That covers the Twin Cities region all the way down to Des Moines, Fort Dodge, Iowa, for example, this afternoon and evening. And we do have a heightened area of tornado potential too. Some of these storms could be rotating from Duluth down to the Twin Cities, the Minneapolis-St. Paul region, La Crosse, even down towards Des Moines, and even Kansas City. Topeka could be seeing that. So some major metropolitan hubs that are impacted by the potential for severe weather. So let's look at this afternoon. The radar should remain pretty quiet here as we go through most of the afternoon, at least the early and middle portion of the afternoon. Say after 3 o'clock, boom, we have storm development across Wisconsin, across Minnesota, Iowa, and then more isolated storm coverage the further south you go toward Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma this evening, and a few of which could be severe. Again, with those damaging wind gusts, large to very large hail, and a couple of rotating storms capable of producing those tornadoes. As we go into early Friday morning, namely after midnight and before sunrise, so between midnight and 6 a.m., we're going to be seeing those thunderstorms kind of more transition to showers as they approach Lake Michigan and northern Illinois, maybe a few rumbles of thunder, but the severe weather threat at this point will be much lower because we're losing the daytime heating here at this point, and a lot of that instability energy for those storms are also a lot lower too. So going into the day on Friday, we do have a marginal risk, very small area, southwestern lower Michigan, northwest Indiana, and eastern Illinois, mainly the southern Chicago suburbs, down there towards Champaign, Urbana, into the Gary, South Bend, Indiana region, and up there towards Grand Rapids. We may start to see a couple of those storms begin to become severe again, damaging winds, large hail, and a tornado possible tomorrow. Overall, it's not going to be a blockbuster system by the means of rainfall. We're not going to see a ton of rain with this system, but there could be up to an inch of rain here or there across Wisconsin, especially the northern part of the states here. So we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on that. And then as we go into the weekend, this system is going to continue to pull that unseasonably warm air as it moves north and east into eastern Canada. It's going to pull up all of that moisture, warm, moist, and stable air across the eastern U.S. So we're going to continue with the summertime feel this weekend. And then out west, with the trough coming in, we're going to see cooler than normal temperatures anomalies out here into the Rockies and the western third of the United States. So let's take a look at that Saturday afternoon. Yeah, you guessed it. We're back into the 80s, 90s, and even triple digits across the eastern United States Saturday afternoon. Very defined cold front here. And then especially Sunday afternoon, very strong temperature gradient here, where it's going to be 93 for an afternoon high Sunday in Kansas City. You go a couple hours north to Omaha, and you're at 60, barely touching the 60-degree mark here, and that is a very strong temperature gradient. Why are we seeing that? Well, we have a strong storm system that is going to be originating across the desert Southwest, the Four Corners region, and you can see that very clearly on here, big dip in the jet stream, and then that will continue on Sunday into the central and northern plains. Monday getting into the upper Midwest, and then early next week, Tuesday, that'll be crashing into areas like Ontario and Quebec, Canada. So that'll be on the move as we go into early next week. This is going to be a moisture-laden system. Make no mistake about it. It's going to be putting down some healthy rainfall totals with upper air moisture content very high for this time of year for the weekend across the Midwest, stretching over the plains and even the front range of the Rockies. Some of this moisture in those higher elevations could actually turn to snowflakes. So we definitely could see a little bit of a snowstorm in the higher elevations of the Rockies outside the Denver area this weekend. And then as we go into early next week, Monday, Tuesday, that's moisture from that system will then be moving up into Ontario, Quebec, Canada. So let's take a look at this, what the radar could look like. You have that low pressure system developing in western Colorado on Saturday. Out ahead of that, stretching out, we have some rain showers across the central plains and the mid-Missouri Valley. As we go into Sunday, a lot of that heavy rainfall will be focused Chicago, Des Moines, Kansas City, in towards the Lincoln, Nebraska area, all the way back to Denver. And then there you go, very small. You blink and you miss it, but you have a little blue on the screen there in the higher elevations outside Denver. Sunday night, could be seeing those heavier snowfall rates across those regions. Then that low pressure system will move up toward the upper Mississippi Valley, upper Midwest region as we go into Monday, bringing more unsettled weather to Minneapolis, La Crosse, and Chicago, Milwaukee region, over here toward Traverse City, Michigan, for example. And then as we go into early next week on Tuesday, that'll move into Ontario. So Toronto and even Montreal might see some showers and storms by Tuesday. And then more unsettled weather back here toward the Red River Valley as well, with an extension of that system back down into that region by the time we get into Tuesday. I know that was a lot, but we are going to see a lot of precipitation with this system. So from Quebec and Ontario all the way back down, stretching through the central and western Great Lakes, into the Midwest, into the plains, especially the central plains, southern plains, back there toward Colorado, New Mexico, and the Texas Panhandle, really areas that desperately need the rainfall. We'll be getting a nice dose of rain, 1 to 3 inches, with some isolated higher amounts possible here between Saturday, September 21st, and Tuesday, September 24th. And also, looking at the snowfall maps here, the higher elevations outside Denver there in western and central Colorado could be seeing up to 15, 20 inches of snow as we go through that 4-day period between Saturday and Tuesday. We'll be keeping an eye on that. Turning over to the tropical weather update, in the National Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida is painting 2 lemons and an orange here on their maps. We do actually have a couple areas of interest, very low probability though, in the very open waters of the Atlantic Basin. The more concerning one is further west here that has a slightly greater chance of developing over the next 7 days, a 40% chance across the Western Caribbean and the southeastern Gulf of Mexico. And this is in an area that is very favorable thermodynamically with the very warm water temperatures here across the Western Caribbean, near Jamaica, near Cuba, and also the Cayman Islands. So these water temperatures are well into the 80s, if not into the 90s here, and this is going to support a couple systems. Now, we're going to look at a couple model runs to show you what this system could do. There's still a lot of uncertainty with the track, the strength, and everything in between with this system. So here's the GFS model. This is the American guidance on Monday, early next week, on the 23rd. You can see a low pressure system down here in Central America will start to develop, move toward the Yucatan, somewhere between the Yucatan and Cuba as we go into middle portion of next week on this model run. Maybe a tropical depression by then, and then a full-fledged tropical storm, if not hurricane, by a week or so from today, by Friday, September 27th, across the southern and central Gulf of Mexico. That's on the GFS, the American model. The GEM model, or the Canadian guidance, is showing a similar solution by Monday down here in the Central Americas, and then up here and toward the Yucatan, maybe just a little bit further west than the GFS, and that could have more land interaction briefly by middle of next week, and then a lot further west than the GFS on Friday next week with this model, pushing it more toward Texas and Louisiana, Mississippi, and this again could be a hurricane or a tropical storm. Now, finally, the ECMWF. This is the European model, and you can see by Monday, again, similar solution originating here in the Central Americas, pushing it just a little bit further west over land, and this has more land interaction by the middle of next week, and a lot slower of a solution as well. And the European model really doesn't get too excited about the storm traveling north. It actually has it moving west over the Bay of Campeche and towards eastern Mexico. So the cone of uncertainty is far and wide with this system, so don't go believing anything on social media that this system for sure will be hitting the United States. There is a solution. We just showed it to you that this could literally hit Mexico or could go up the East Coast. That entire cone of uncertainty is there, and it's a large one as we go into next week. And we'll, of course, be tracking it for you right here on this channel. Make sure to subscribe to the channel down below for the latest weather information right at your fingertips, whether it's a video, a live stream. Make sure to turn on all post notifications for those. Make sure to give the video a like, a thumbs up down below, especially if you did enjoy it here today. Leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. We'll always get to those after my videos, and I hope everyone has a wonderful and terrific rest of their Thursday out there.